Has someone you love started showing subtle but concerning changes over the past year? Small things that don't seem alarming on their own, but together leave you with a quiet sense of unease. Many people assume that death in old age comes suddenly, like the flick of a switch. But in reality, the body often begins a slow and silent process of decline long before the final moment arrives. These early signs are easy to miss because they tend to be gentle and gradual. Fading energy, loss of appetite, forgetfulness, or changes in mood that are often dismissed as simply normal aging. It's only when we look back that the pattern becomes clear, and by then it's often too late to prepare emotionally, have important conversations, or create meaningful moments that could have brought peace to both you and your loved one. That's why this video is so important. We're going to explore 7 key signs that frequently appear during the last year of an elderly person's life, signs that may already be happening right in front of you. Some of them you might have noticed and brushed off. Others may surprise you. Recognizing these signs early can help you shift your focus from worry and uncertainty to love and intention. It gives you the chance to offer better care, preserve dignity, and fill the final months with comfort, peace, and meaningful connection. These insights aren't meant to cause fear. They're meant to help you prepare, to guide you through a time that can feel overwhelming and unfamiliar. So stay with us until the end. Because understanding what lies ahead allows you to make the most of the time you still have with the people who matter most. Before we begin, if you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you enjoy this video, please type 1 in the comments. If you don't like it, type 0 in the comments to let me know so I can make better videos for you. Now let's get started. Number 1. Significant weight loss. One of the most profound and often overlooked indicators that a person may be nearing the final year of life is unintentional, noticeable weight loss. It might begin subtly. Perhaps a pair of pants that once fit comfortably now seem too loose, or a favorite meal that no longer gets finished. At first glance, these changes might not raise concern. After all, it's easy to assume that a smaller appetite or thinning frame is just a normal part of getting older. But in truth, unexplained weight loss is rarely a benign symptom, especially in elderly individuals. It often signals that the body is no longer functioning at full capacity. Nutrient absorption declines, muscle tissue begins to break down more rapidly, and essential systems within the body start to slow, sometimes irreversibly. While aging does naturally lead to a gradual reduction in muscle mass and appetite, a rapid or ongoing loss of weight is often a sign of something more serious beneath the surface. One common factor contributing to this weight loss is a diminished sense of taste and smell. Food no longer brings the same pleasure it once did, leading to disinterest in meals or even skipping them entirely. This isn't simply a matter of choice. It's often a biological response. The body, as it approaches its final stage, begins to deprioritize functions that are no longer essential for survival, including digestion and hunger regulation. In some cases, the sensation of hunger disappears almost entirely. At the same time, underlying medical conditions like heart failure, advanced kidney disease, chronic infections, or undiagnosed cancers can further suppress appetite and hasten weight loss. Mental health issues like depression or cognitive decline, including dementia, can also disrupt eating habits, making it difficult for individuals to remember to eat or recognize the need for nourishment. Families, out of love and concern, often try to counteract this trend by offering favorite meals, preparing high-calorie dishes, or supplementing with nutritional drinks. While these efforts are well-intentioned, they don't always solve the problem, because the root cause may not be about food at all. The body could be entering a phase where it is no longer equipped or willing to sustain itself in the same way. This can be deeply distressing to witness, especially for caregivers who feel helpless watching their loved one grow thinner and weaker despite their best efforts. It's important during this time to shift the focus from trying to fix the problem to understanding what the body is communicating. If you notice a significant and consistent loss of weight in an elderly loved one, particularly if it's paired with a noticeable decline in strength, reduced mobility, or increasing fatigue, it's time to pay close attention. This isn't just about appearance or numbers on a scale. It's a deeper signal that the body is moving toward a different phase of life. Rather than trying to force larger meals or more calories, prioritize comfort. Offer small, easy-to-digest meals that your loved one enjoys. Make hydration a focus. Create a peaceful environment at mealtime, free of pressure. Above all, understand that this process is not a failure of care, but a natural transition. By recognizing what's truly happening, you can respond with empathy, patience, and support, making your loved one's final months more comfortable and meaningful. Number 2, extreme fatigue and weakness. One of the most profound and often unnoticed signs that an elderly loved one may be nearing the final year of their life is a deep, unrelenting fatigue, an exhaustion that cannot be eased by simply resting or sleeping. This is not the typical tiredness we all experience after a long, busy day or a poor night's sleep. It's a pervasive weariness that seeps into every part of their body, mind, and spirit. Simple activities that once felt routine, like getting dressed, walking a short distance, or even engaging in a conversation, can suddenly feel overwhelming, even insurmountable. The person may start sleeping much more throughout the day, taking long, uninterrupted naps, or dozing off unexpectedly, not out of boredom, but because their body has simply reached the point where it no longer has the energy to stay awake. It's important to note that this level of fatigue goes beyond the normal slowing down that comes with age. The fatigue often seen in the final stages of life isn't just part of the aging process. It's a sign that the body is entering a new phase where energy is being reserved for essential functions and non-essential tasks are becoming too taxing. As internal systems begin to decline, particularly the heart, lungs, and muscles, the body starts conserving its remaining strength for the most critical functions. Circulation becomes weaker. Oxygen delivery to the body's tissues becomes less efficient, and the body's metabolism slows considerably. In this phase, the drive for movement and activity starts to diminish. Activities that once seemed effortless, like walking to the kitchen, taking a shower, or even attending a family gathering, can now be incredibly exhausting, causing the individual to feel drained much more quickly. What makes this level of fatigue especially difficult to witness is its emotional toll. Many elderly individuals are fully aware of the things they can no longer do, and this awareness can lead to feelings of frustration, sadness, and even shame. They may long to engage in the hobbies they once loved, interact with their families, or take care of themselves, but their bodies no longer have the strength or stamina to support these activities. The loss of independence and the realization that they can't do what they used to can be deeply distressing. As a result, some individuals may begin to withdraw from social events, family gatherings, or even everyday interactions, not because they no longer care or don't want to be with loved ones, but because they simply don't have the strength to engage in the same way they once did. This can be especially heart-wrenching for family members who remember their loved one as someone who was once energetic, vibrant, and full of life. At this stage, it's essential for those around the person to understand that the fatigue is not just an inconvenience or something that can be fixed. The body is signaling that it is preparing for its final stage, and while it may be tempting to try to push them to keep going, or attempt to restore their energy to what it once was, the focus should shift toward providing comfort and compassion. Rather than demanding more of them, the key is to create an environment that honors their needs, their pace, and their energy levels. This may involve simplifying their daily routines, allowing for more rest, and adjusting activities to ensure that they are as comfortable and at ease as possible. Small changes, like offering them a cozy place to nap or making sure they don't feel pressured to be social when they're too tired, can make a world of difference. It's also important to provide emotional support during this time. While it may be hard for them to keep up with the same level of activity, meaningful connections can still be made in quieter, gentler ways. A calm conversation, simply holding hands, or even just being present with them in a peaceful moment can offer comfort and reassurance. These small acts of presence can bring more peace than any large gesture, reminding them that they are loved and not alone, even as their energy wanes. If you notice that your loved one is consistently tired, sleeping more than usual, or struggling with even the simplest of tasks, it's crucial to recognize that these changes aren't just part of aging. They are signals that the body is going through a transition and preparing for the end of life. These signs of extreme fatigue are not something to fear, but rather an opportunity to respond with empathy and understanding. By recognizing and accepting the signs, you can provide the comfort and peace your loved one needs in this vulnerable stage. Your presence and support can make all the difference, helping them face this time with dignity and a sense of calm. Number 3, cognitive confusion and emotional withdrawal. Another deeply significant sign that an elderly loved one may be nearing the final stages of life is a noticeable shift in their cognitive function and emotional engagement. Someone who was once mentally sharp, highly articulate, and deeply involved in conversations may begin to show signs of cognitive confusion or memory loss. These changes can be subtle at first: a forgotten appointment, a misplaced item, or an occasional slip of the tongue. However, over time, these moments of confusion become more frequent and more noticeable. You might find that they struggle to recall familiar names, get disoriented about the time of day or location, or start to forget simple details about their daily routine. They may lose track of what they were saying mid-sentence, ask the same question repeatedly without realizing, or seem unable to remember something they just discussed moments ago. Time, place, and even the faces of close family members can become jumbled, leading to confusion that can often leave them feeling frightened or frustrated. This confusion is not merely a normal sign of aging, nor is it the result of a rough day. Rather, it's often the brain's response to a gradual decline in blood flow, oxygen levels, and the body's overall shift into a state of conservation. Just like other vital organs, such as the heart and lungs, the brain relies on these internal systems to function properly. As these systems slow down with the age and illness, the brain follows suit. This decline in cognitive function can leave the person unable to perform tasks they used to manage easily or remember information they once could recall without effort. In some cases, this cognitive confusion can escalate to full-blown memory loss or even a lack of recognition of loved ones or familiar surroundings. It can be an emotionally painful experience for both the person and their family, as the loss of memory often feels like a loss of identity. But cognitive confusion isn't the only challenge that comes with the final stages of life. Alongside the mental fog, emotional withdrawal is another common and telling sign. You might notice your loved one becoming more quiet, distant, or even disinterested in people or activities that once brought them great joy. Activities that once engaged them, like reading, socializing, or even watching television, may now seem dull or unappealing. They may withdraw into themselves, sit in silence for long periods, or offer only brief, minimal responses when spoken to. This emotional retreat can be particularly difficult for families to watch, especially when the person they love, who was once lively, engaging, and socially active, now seems to disappear into themselves. But it's important to understand that this withdrawal is often not a sign of disinterest or a loss of affection. It's more likely a form of self-protection. As the body begins to slow down, so does the mind. The person may find it harder to keep up with the noise and busyness of daily life, and what once seemed like background noise may now feel overwhelming. Crowded spaces or loud conversations can agitate them, prompting them to retreat inward. Some may also become more easily irritated, anxious, or even paranoid as they struggle to make sense of the world around them. Conversely, others may become unusually calm or emotionally flat, showing little reaction to things that would have once sparked joy or excitement. These shifts in mood are not personality changes, but signals that the brain is adjusting to the physical changes the body is undergoing. Cognitive confusion and emotional withdrawal can be particularly heartbreaking because they can feel like a loss of the person you once knew. But it's crucial to remember that these changes are not failures of the individual. They are natural responses to the body's decline and the mind's way of adapting to the inevitable transition. Rather than trying to correct these behaviors or forcing your loved one to engage in activities or conversations they no longer have the capacity for, the most compassionate approach is to meet them where they are. Speak to them with kindness, and use their name frequently to ground them in the moment. Avoid overwhelming them with long conversations or complex questions. Instead, offer comfort through your presence, touch, and reassurance. Sometimes simply sitting beside them, holding their hand, or offering a quiet, peaceful environment can provide more solace than any words could. Even if they don't always respond or seem to understand, your presence still brings them comfort on a deeper level. On some level, they can still feel your love, your safety, and your support. Number 4. Frequent infections and slow healing. Another critical and often overlooked sign that an elderly loved one may be approaching the final stages of life is the noticeable increase in infections and a more prolonged, difficult healing process. As the body ages and its systems start to decline, the immune system becomes increasingly less effective. What used to be minor ailments, like a common cold or a small scratch, now linger far longer or turn into more severe or persistent conditions. If your loved one who once rarely got sick is suddenly battling frequent illnesses, recurring urinary tract infections, frequent chest colds that evolve into pneumonia, or skin infections that just won't heal, it may be time to recognize these as signals of a deeper issue. The body's defenses are weakening. This decline in immune function doesn't just mean more illnesses, it also means the body is less equipped to fight off infections and heal from injuries. Cuts, breakings, scrapes, or even minor wounds might stay open for weeks. Bruises may take longer to fade, and chronic sores or pressure ulcers may begin to form, particularly if the person's mobility is restricted. These slow-healing wounds are often due to a lack of efficient blood flow and circulation, which deprives the tissues of oxygen and the essential nutrients they need for proper healing. In some cases, the person's skin may appear more fragile, and even small injuries may take a greater toll on their health. Even more concerning, infections in elderly individuals often don't present in the typical ways you might expect. They may not exhibit the usual symptoms like fever, redness, or pain that typically signal infection in younger people. Instead, you might notice your loved one becoming unusually confused, fatigued, or displaying sudden changes in their behavior. For example, a sudden episode of delirium, where they become disoriented or seem out of it, can actually be a subtle sign of an internal infection, such as a urinary tract infection, UTI, or pneumonia. These types of infections can affect the elderly differently, and they may not always show signs of discomfort, despite being severely ill. In fact, infections in the elderly often present as mental confusion or extreme tiredness, which can easily be overlooked or attributed to normal aging. As these signs of infection and slow healing become more frequent, families often face a deeply difficult decision. Should they continue to pursue aggressive treatments, or should the focus shift toward comfort and quality of life? The truth is, at this stage, overuse of antibiotics or repeated hospital visits can sometimes do more harm than good. For example, antibiotics that once worked efficiently may now have reduced effectiveness, leading to prolonged treatments with little to show for it. The stress of continuous medical interventions can add discomfort, confusion, and emotional distress to an already fragile situation. In these moments, what often matters more than trying to cure every ailment is ensuring that the individual's remaining time is filled with comfort, peace, and dignity. Focusing on hydration, gentle care, and creating an environment that minimizes stress and discomfort becomes more important. Simple acts of care, like wrapping them in warm blankets, playing soothing music, offering soft lighting, and being present, can bring much-needed relief and a sense of security. Your presence as a loving family member or caregiver, offering comfort without the need for constant interventions, can be one of the greatest gifts you can give during this stage. If your loved one is experiencing frequent infections, slow healing, or recurring illnesses, it's crucial to recognize that their body is struggling to keep up with the demands of life. These changes are not just part of aging, they're signs that their body is gradually losing its ability to fight off illness and heal from injuries. Rather than focusing solely on cures or seeking aggressive treatments, consider how best you can support them through these challenges, ensuring that their remaining time is as peaceful and comfortable as possible. By shifting focus from treatment to comfort, you can help ease their journey and ensure that their final stage of life is filled with the care, love, and dignity they deserve. Number 5. Changes in breathing or circulation. One of the most visible and profound indicators that the end of life may be approaching is a noticeable shift in a person's breathing and circulation. Breathing patterns often become irregular, sometimes rapid and shallow, other times slow and labored. A distinct and recognizable rhythm known as Cheney-Stokes respiration may appear, where periods of deep, rapid breathing are followed by moments of no breathing at all. For family members who haven't seen this before, it can be frightening and confusing, but it is a natural part of the body's gradual shutting down. As the lungs become less efficient, even the simplest of tasks, like speaking, walking across a room, or eating, can lead to shortness of breath. You may notice your loved one beginning to breathe through their mouth more often, needing to sit upright to feel comfortable, or producing soft gurgling or rattling sounds during sleep. These aren't signs of a cold or a temporary issue, they're signals that the lungs are no longer functioning at full capacity, and the body is trying to conserve energy. At the same time, circulation begins to slow. Blood flow is directed toward vital organs, which means the extremities, hands, feet, ears, and nose, often feel cool or cold to the touch. The skin may lose its usual color and appear pale, bluish, or mottled, particularly on the arms and legs. These changes in appearance can be startling, but they are part of the body's natural process of withdrawal and conservation during its final stages. It's important for families and caregivers to understand that these changes are not necessarily painful. More often, they are signs that the body is transitioning. Rather than focusing on correcting or fixing these symptoms, the most compassionate response is to provide comfort. A cool breeze from a fan, the gentle use of a humidifier, or low-flow oxygen can ease discomfort. Soft blankets, quiet surroundings, and calm voices offer reassurance and peace during a time that can feel uncertain. If you begin to observe these kinds of breathing or circulation changes in someone you love, it's a powerful signal that their body is preparing to rest. Rather than respond with fear, this is a time to embrace stillness, to sit beside them, hold their hand, and simply be present. In the end, your calm presence can offer more comfort than anything else, reminding them that they are not alone and that they are deeply loved. Number 6. Loss of interest in food and fluids. As the body nears its final stages, one of the most noticeable changes is the loss of interest in food and fluids. What was once a source of enjoyment and nourishment may gradually lose its appeal. Meals that were once cherished may now seem unimportant, and even the idea of eating may cause discomfort or disinterest. The act of eating or drinking can become more exhausting, and many elderly individuals may begin to refuse food and beverages altogether, sometimes without an obvious reason. This loss of appetite can be deeply unsettling for family members. The instinct to encourage eating often comes from a place of love and concern. After all, food is essential for survival. However, as the body slows down, digestion and metabolism naturally diminish, and food becomes less important in the grand scheme of things. The body is conserving its energy for the most essential functions, and nutrition takes a back seat to the body's natural process of winding down. In the final stages, swallowing can become difficult and even painful, leading to choking or discomfort when trying to consume food. Fluids may no longer be properly absorbed, and forcing someone to eat can cause them distress or bloating. Rather than focusing on calorie intake, it's more important to provide comfort and care. Offering small sips of water, using a damp cloth to moisten the lips, or offering ice chips or soft foods that are easy to swallow can help keep them comfortable. It's also worth noting that dehydration, while concerning, is a natural part of the process, and the body will gradually adjust to the decreased fluid intake. Instead of trying to push food or fluids, the goal should be to make the person as comfortable as possible, offering gentle hydration when needed, and allowing them to rest without the pressure to eat. This loss of interest in food is a sign that the body is preparing to let go, and accepting this change with compassion allows families to focus on providing love and comfort in a time of deep emotional connection. Number 7. Emotional and spiritual readiness. As physical signs of decline become more apparent, there's often a subtle yet deeply profound shift in emotional and spiritual states. It's not uncommon for individuals nearing the end of their life to exhibit a quiet readiness, a sense of peace or acceptance that goes beyond the physical decline. They may express feelings of longing to be with loved ones who have passed, or make comments about going home, or being ready for rest. These remarks might be cryptic or seem disjointed, but they are often an indication that the individual is mentally and emotionally preparing for the inevitable. For many, this stage is marked by a sense of spiritual peace, whether that's a reconnection with faith, a deepening of personal beliefs, or simply a quiet acceptance of what lies ahead. Some individuals may begin to speak more about their past, sharing memories, regrets, or moments of joy with family members. They may ask for forgiveness, offer gratitude, or express a sense of closure that allows them to make peace with their life's journey. It's not unusual for people in the final stages of life to experience what seems like a shift in perspective. Some begin to withdraw emotionally, not out of disinterest, but because they are focusing on the transition they're about to make. For others, they may experience a kind of emotional withdrawal from the everyday world, becoming less concerned with material or social matters, and more attuned to spiritual or existential reflections. Some individuals may even wait for a specific event, a family member's visit, a particular holiday, or a final personal milestone, before they feel it's time to let go. While this emotional and spiritual readiness may feel unsettling for those left behind, it's important to recognize that it's a natural part of the dying process. It's an invitation to embrace this moment as a sacred one, where the person is making peace with their life and preparing to transition. Family members and caregivers can offer profound support during this stage by simply being present, offering gentle words of comfort, and allowing their loved one the space to express whatever they may be feeling without trying to change or fix anything. Rather than feeling helpless, families can take solace in knowing that this emotional readiness is part of a larger, natural process. It's an opportunity for families to gather around, share final moments, reflect on memories, and offer the deepest forms of love and support. Whether through silent companionship, holding a hand, sharing stories, or just being there, this is a time when the power of emotional connection and spiritual peace can provide both the person nearing the end of life and their loved ones with the comfort and grace they need. Take a moment to reflect on the 7 signs we've discussed: significant weight loss, extreme fatigue, cognitive confusion, frequent infections, changes in breathing and circulation, loss of interest in food and fluids, and emotional and spiritual readiness. These signs may not all show up at once, and they can happen gradually over time. While they may feel unsettling, recognizing them can help you prepare. It's natural to want to fix everything, but often the best approach is to shift from trying to fix to offering comfort. Understanding these signs isn't about fearing death. It's about making sure the last months or years of your loved one's life are peaceful and filled with love and care. By knowing what to expect, you can provide better support and make the most of the time you have left. If you're noticing these signs, take a deep breath and know you're not alone. Many families go through this, and there are resources and support to guide you. Thank you for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support helps us continue making content to inform and inspire others.